Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. So thrilled to have you along with us. Hey, by the way, it's a little chilly, so don't let this be the way you dress. I did have a jacket over the top of this. So as the kids are heading to the bus stop or you're heading off to work, you might want to grab that jacket because it is a little cold. Actually, it was around 50, maybe some of you in the outer areas in the low 40s. We'll check in with Beckett, our aspiring meteorologist, in just a second as we give you our What the Weather segment. We're also going to recap the Blues game. Did you stay up for it? Please feel free to drop in any comments. I went to bed after the first period, excuse me, the first overtime, I should say. And then I thought, do I want to stay up for another 20 minutes, then get into another period? How long are these double, triple overtimes? Because that's what we see a lot of times in the playoffs. Well, we went into the double overtime, and I'll let you know what happened with that. Cards on tap tonight. National Day of Calendar, of course, talking about Cinco de Mayo, and I'd love to know where your favorite Mexican restaurant is. Drop it in comments because some people are going to think about going out for lunch or dinner or happy hour today, and maybe they want to try a new spot. And then we've got some news you can use locally and nationally as well. And then we're super excited to bring back a very popular guest of ours, Dr. Sarah Jensen with Regional Dermatology. She's got a couple of locations in Chesterfield and another one in Festus. I know a lot of our viewers have gone to see her. Thank you for supporting those that support us. So back on a Medical Monday, we're going to talk about skincare and those TikTok fads that are out there. And then I'm super excited to bring Babs in, Barbara Goldson, known as Brian McKenna's best friend. And it's really interesting. I had reached out to her and wanted to have her on, and then I heard that she wanted to do one last show. And when they told her that I wanted to interview her, she said, that's it. That's the show I want to do. And you have to understand that brought me to tears. Definitely honored me. So we're going to honor him. And we're going to talk about Brian McKenna Day, which is coming up at the end of this month. So we have a jam-packed hour plus. We'll probably go to about 8:15, maybe 8:30. So buckle up, get ready for a ride of education and emotion this morning. But with no further ado, let's bring on our aspiring meteorologist in a segment we call What the Weather.
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
And good morning to you, Beckett. How was your weekend?
It was good. How was yours?
Oh, it was fabulous. Got a lot done. It was very busy. I was cooking with Jim. I don't know if you saw that, but we were working for our Slyman Brothers 60th anniversary. He was very reluctant to go on with me, by the way, because he's a behind-the-scenes man. We made some fajitas and a little chili relleno, so that was fun. And then we raised over $110,000 for the puppies and the kittens with Care STL. So it was a busy one, but very fulfilled. What did you do?
Mainly just relaxed. It wasn't very busy for me.
Did you golf at all?
No, not this weekend.
Well, it was a little chilly, actually. We were talking about that. It is chilly.
Yep.
What is the temperature pretty much? Is it in the low 50s right now?
Yeah, low 50s around the area.
Yeah, that's crazy. So a little cloudy this morning as well. So let's find out what it's going to warm up to. And then as we get ready for the week, you know, my mom always says never to plant until after Mother's Day. I think I heard Farmington still had maybe a freeze coming, but I think, can we feel secure that we can start planting?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I don't think we're going to drop below
Good.
35. Yeah, nothing like that.
So maybe everybody's going to the nurseries and grab some plants and plant them for mom. Don't make her do those. Let's find out what it's going to be again today throughout the weekend into Mother's Day. Let's let Becca take it away.
Yeah, so looking at the current conditions right now, we got overcast skies here in the St. Louis area, 51 degrees, 9-mile-per-hour winds out of the northwest. Sunrise this morning before 6 o'clock at 5:59, and our sunset tonight will be at 7:57, almost getting to 8 p.m. for our sunset already. Now looking at this morning, again, 51 overcast this afternoon, not warming up a lot. This is going to be our coolest day of the week with mostly cloudy skies and a high in the low 60s here in the St. Louis area. Lastly, our 7-day forecast, again, mostly cloudy with a high around 63 today. Tonight, it would low around 49. As we head into tomorrow, looking like a very nice day, mostly sunny skies, high in the mid-70s. Wednesday and Thursday, we do have 2 rain chances. Showers are going to be possible on both of those days, with highs in the mid-70s. But then as we head into this weekend, it looks very nice. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all sunny and continuing to warm up towards 80 on Sunday.
Okay, that sounds like a fabulous Mother's Day weekend. What are you doing for your mom? I hope you have something planned.
I think we'll go to a brunch. I think so.
Brunch. Who doesn't love brunch? Fantastic. Well, please do me a favor. I'll talk to you on Friday, but if I forget, tell your mom I said Happy Mother's Day.
Will do.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll check in with you again on Friday.
All right, sounds good. See you.
Be sure to follow him, by the way. He is the most accurate meteorologist, and that's where you should get your weather from. Our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore, where you can follow him on X and on YouTube. All right, let's lick our wounds. Let's just get it out of the way. I can't believe the Blues lost. I just really, truly can't. I had so much hope. And, here's the thing. Jim Montgomery had the most incredible speech. I don't know if you saw that, to the players, saying, nobody expected us to be here, but we're here, and let's create chaos. I loved that. Unfortunately, they lost to the Jets in Game 7. 1.6 seconds left on the clock for the Jets to tie it up and to push it into overtime. So it was tied at 3. It went into the first overtime, and it was still tied at 3. That's when I went to bed, and probably a lot of you as well. And I woke up this morning literally with one eye open and said, please let me see that the Blues won. And no, wah, wah, wah. Final score was 4-3. So now it's the Jets. Congratulations to the Jets. They move on and they play the Dallas Stars. So the season's over, unfortunately. Blues hard fought. And again, nobody expected you to go into the playoffs, and you play against the number 1 team in the league. I mean, come on, they push them to Game 7. So you got to be proud of that. Again, don't not be proud of what you did, but just wish we would have been able to go on beyond the first round. So again, the Blues lose 4-3. Season, unfortunately, is over. All right, let's talk about this. A possible measles case. Now, I was a little apprehensive when we were going to Fredericksburg, Texas, because I had heard of all these measles cases that were popping up in Texas. We obviously came back. We were fine. But now a confirmed case of measles from an out-of-state resident reported yesterday to the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. According to them, the out-of-state resident with measles reportedly visited the St. Louis Aquarium on April 30th between 1 to 6 and a St. Louis area restaurant. Now, the department reports that information. The restaurant is extremely limited as of right now. According to the department, they say the measles is highly contagious. People may have been exposed at the St. Louis Aquarium. If you believe you have measles, you should isolate. You should call your healthcare provider before going to get tested so you can prevent exposure to other people. We'll stay with the medical theme. There is a free medical clinic that I want you to know about, and this is going to be at America Center, a free large health clinic, Monday through Thursday of this week. No insurance, no identification needed. The doors opening at 7 a.m. So they just opened today. And again, it runs through Thursday. Hundreds of medical professionals and volunteers spending this week working together to help the community during the event. Again, 7 a.m. Monday through Thursday, May 4th through the 9th. The center will serve as a medical clinic offering several free services, including primary care, dental services, optometry, pediatrics, and other services. By the way, it's organized by Pathway to Health, a service of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And that actually should say more on the 5th. So they said in this article, May 4th through the 9th, but it should be the 5th through the 9th, because we know today, of course, is Cinco de Mayo. But what was yesterday? May the 4th be with you. Okay, all of you Star Wars fans, you get that. But how did that ever start? And did you wear your Star Wars gear yesterday? The Galaxy Day. I ended up looking into this. May 4th, or May the 4th, is Day, has evolved over the years into Star Wars Day, an informal holiday celebrating the space epic and its surrounding franchise. It was created by fans as a sly nod to one of the film's most popular catchphrases, May the Force be with you. Get it? Yeah, good. Now, May the 4th be with you as well. And it spread like crazy. A lot of fun things that I saw on social media yesterday. Let us know how you celebrated. Today, though, is Cinco de Mayo. And I want to know, will you celebrate? Will you go to lunch or happy hour or dinner? And if so, where will you go? We want to know, where are the top Mexican restaurants for you? And wherever you go, tell us why it's one of your favorites. Is it the food? Is it the margaritas? Let us know that. Here's some other things that are going on our National Day of calendar. National Silence the Shame Day. It sounds like we should do our 100 Days to Freedom from Shame, evidently. Cinco de Mayo, of course. Melanoma Monday, which is interesting as we bring on our Medical Monday expert, Dr. Sarah Jensen, in just a second. National Astronaut Day. It's also National National Hoagie Day, National Totally Chipotle Day, and it is National Cartoonist Day. Now, we've got some entertainment news before we talk about the Cardinals. Are you a Lady Gaga fan? If so, you probably already heard about this. If not, look at this, folks. This is news that we are just getting overnight. A bomb threat targeting historic Lady Gaga concert in Rio de Janeiro was thwarted, according to Brazilian police. A criminal network promoting hate speech and the radicalization of teenagers planned to attack that show over the weekend. It was a free event that drew more than 2 million attendees. But again, it was thwarted, which is fantastic news. And in our other sports news, again, we're going to bookend it. The Blues losing, and then here's your Cardinals news. If you are a baseball fan, the Cards won. They pulled one out against the Mets 5-4. It's the Pirates coming to town tonight. That first pitch will be at 6:45. And that's how we do it. We get you all up to date in some news that we think you can use. Nothing negative. We don't want to start your day that way. More so giving you information, maybe sometimes lighting you up. Sorry I gave you sad news again about the Blues, but at least you're up to date now. We're going to take our break, and when we come back, I cannot wait to see her smiling face. Dr. Sarah Jensen, maybe you're new to the show. I know some people watching from Texas ever since we just got back from there. Can't wait to introduce you to her, or do us a favor and welcome her back. It's Medical Monday with Dr. Sarah Jensen from Regional Dermatology when we return.
Carroll House is now the contemporary furniture design center.
We now have the largest selection of the latest ultra-modern furniture.
Sleek European designs, unique metals, bold lacquers, plush fabrics, and retro styles.
Modern furnishings with exclusive collections only at Carroll House.
Plus free financing, free delivery and setup, and free in-home design.
Visit the St. Louis Center for Contemporary Design inside our 3.5-acre showrooms at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
She's, oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 or something. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio tape, going to
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We're gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna.
I'm going to spank them.
If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm gonna spank you. Folks, you never know what you're gonna get with her. And welcome back again. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend. You know, we were doing Medical Monday for a long time, took a little break from it, but it is back. And for those of you that have never met her, let me introduce you to Dr. Sarah Jensen from Regional Dermatology. Welcome to our new set.
Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it is so good to see you.
It's great to be back.
Your beautiful smiling face. I've missed you. What have you been doing?
Oh, we've been growing the practice. We've been adding new things to our practice, adding new providers to our practice. It's just been a lot of development. And I finally feel like I can take my foot off the gas a little bit and just coast a little.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Have you enjoyed any time away, relaxation with the family, visiting the girls? I had to go over to their house and meet your family. Your family's beautiful. How are the girls doing?
They're great. They're coming back. One kid just came in last night, my oldest from Indiana University.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to extract Audrey from San Diego, but it's a challenge.
She uses the word extract.
Getting her out of the sun and the beach, that's a tough one.
Well, I bet. Absolutely. Again, Regional Dermatology, and let me give you the locations. Her original practice in Festus, and then she opened up her practice in Chesterfield. How long has that been since you opened Chesterfield?
It's just over a year. I just have a Facebook, like open house coming back on my feed, you know. And
How exciting.
It's been great. Yeah, it's really lovely.
She's fantastic. And a lot of you know that. And I want to thank you for those that have been to see see her already, remember, support those that support us. So I don't know if she called you yet, but I just gave a number to a lady that works with Jim at the police department.
Oh,
She reached out to me when we were in Texas, and she's like, okay, it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Can you give me her number again? So I can't say names for HIPAA reasons, but I
Right.
think she should have just contacted you. If not, she will be very soon. For all of you, when it comes to anything that you need with regards to skincare, this is the woman I want you to go to. All right, we're going to just start straight out of the gate. I sent something to her that I had just seen on TikTok, and I was like, what? Are people putting like snails and stuff on their face? What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. There you go. There's the picture. So I don't think that's really what's happening. But
Yeah.
of course, for effect and to get the clicks, people are like, oh, is this what I'm doing now? I saw people like forever ago, like they're like putting leeches and stuff. And I was like, no, what are you doing? This doesn't make any sense.
It didn't. But the more I looked into it, because I'm not a TikToker, I have enough social media
Exactly.
outlets, so I have to keep updated by friends and some colleagues. But the snail mucin actually makes a lot of sense once I started reviewing it. There's some literature about it. There's studies with it, but I don't know how they extract it. But this mucin is sort of it's antibacterial. It has like some anti-inflammatory properties. So some people think it might build collagen and elastin in your skin. So of the things I reviewed, that's one of the more interesting ones. And it made me start looking for it for my own skin.
So again, as Dr. Jensen has said, they're not actually putting that on their skin, but getting it from them.
Yes.
So for that part, you say, okay.
Right. From that trail that you see, when you do see
Which just makes me sick to my stomach.
I haven't tried it myself.
No, thanks. Get it off. I try to get it off my hands as quickly as possible.
Right. So somehow they extract it in this. I looked at a study that extracted it somehow ethically, and I didn't know how that would happen, but they did see that they created more fibroblasts in the skin when people were using it on their skin. So,
and we've got
really
a picture of what it looks like again from that. There you go, Zach. Yes. But it's not, again, you're not putting a snail on.
No, but that actually looks like the picture of the beef tallow, because we had also talked about beef tallow on the skin.
So that's that one. Okay.
Yeah, that's that thicker. I think the mucin is a little bit more like gelatinous, kind of clear. This is the beef tallow, so it's really kind of that fatty substance.
So this is another thing, by the way, folks, that you're seeing on social media.
Right. And so this one, my sister-in-law keeps up to date on this, and she's been using it. She calls it some kind of thing they call slugging. And that's some kind of practice where people put multiple layers on their skin before they go to bed at night. Maybe this vitamin C serum, maybe a mask. I don't know, all the different things, hyaluronic acid. And slugging is that last layer, kind of like just to keep it all in.
Okay.
The only problem with that, one, I don't think you need that many products on your skin. I think it can really complicate things. And also, I read a few articles about how this may promote acne because it really can clog your pores. So you really have to be careful.
You're working against yourself.
Yeah. So this one I'm not quite so sure about. Some of the thoughts is that it's more close to our own fat cells, our own lipids, which our skin really loves. Like it's very lipophilic. It loves lipids. It loves things like coconut oil, olive oil. I mean, I'm a big fan of coconut oil. That's one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's actually antimicrobial, so it works a little bit on the microbiome, the little organisms on your skin, and it really hydrates.
And don't we talk about microbiome also in our gut?
In our gut.
Which, by the way, a lot of this that happens and this that happens is from here.
Very related.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I learn about that with the integrative dermatology. So I take that into effect when I'm counseling patients. If I have to put them on antibiotics, I'll definitely tell them you need to take a probiotic or you need to increase your fermented foods, which we don't get a lot of that in the American diet.
Right.
I mean, maybe yogurts if you get one that's a little like lower in sugar.
Sugars,
a lot of our yogurts are
way too high in sugars.
Yeah. So just to replace that, I take a probiotic every day,
Again, if you're just tuning in, Dr. Sarah Jensen, she's a wealth of knowledge from Regional Dermatology. And we want to start it out with that. Again, maybe it's your kids, or maybe you need to have that discussion of, hey, have you been talking about snails and maybe, other fad things that are out there that maybe you shouldn't be doing? Maybe you're working against yourself. So we transition from that to what you do recommend, which we talked about many, many months ago, and you don't really alter from that because it works. So if someone says, okay, I'm not going to use snails or I'm not going to use some tallow on my skin, then what should I be using?
Well, I go back to the tried and true, and I like the retin-A, the tretinoin. You know, it's a vitamin A for the skin. It really works on fine lines, discolorations, builds collagen. Simple to use, easy to use, fairly inexpensive. We use it for acne for younger patients and for adults too. But that's my tried and true. And then a good sunblock. So I use a really nice sunblock with SPF like 15 or above. I like to see some minerals like zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, even iron oxide now. So those are some of the products that I like. I really have loved this new one. It's not just new to me, this Blissoma product. It's actually it's run by a woman, Julie Longyear, who's in St. Louis, small business owner. I just collaborated with her on this product, giving a talk to dermatologists and providers. And it's just very natural based because, you know, a lot of patients don't want to have all these chemicals, all these additives. We're really kind of more savvy about what we're putting on our skin. So that's why I think the simpler, the better, getting back to nature. And that's what, and the picture on the right, that's my favorite. That's the Abbey Rose. And again, run by a mom whose child had eczema and wanted to cook something up in the kitchen and created this product. And it's really, they're both very simple but elegant.
Isn't it amazing how things are found? I was looking at something yesterday and it was talking about how someone has a mistake and then in their mistake comes this thing that we talk about in history, right? So don't look at mistakes and failures as a bad thing. Who knows what could come out of it? But you're cooking along in the kitchen and you're like, hey, well, look what I just found.
Right.
That's going to help everyone. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about skincare, and I think it's kind of ironic. I did not know that today was National Melanoma Awareness Day. And nor did I originally set this up where Dr. Jensen and Babs, so stay tuned, Babs is coming up. So Brian McKenna had skin cancer. And if you know the fight that he went through from like 2014 on and the surgeries that he had, did you know Brian by chance?
I didn't.
A remarkable human being that we lost tragically back in March. And after the fight that he went through to be taken so tragically in a car accident, he was walking across the street and was struck and killed. Yes. But we're going to remember his life, right? Because that's what he would want. He would want us to laugh today. He would want us to celebrate, but he would also want this. He would want all of you to understand the importance of taking care of your skin. And Dr. Jensen, we are transitioning. We just talked about the weather warming up and the unofficial start of summer is when all the people open their pools, but some of them are open already. So you probably see people out there sunbathing and it probably makes you cringe sometimes of, are you covered up with sunscreen? It is a real thing. You've got to put it on, right?
It's true. I do it every morning. I tell my patients to do first thing in the morning on face and your forearms because that's what sees most of the sun. You know, you're out just getting the mail. People think, oh, I'm just going to do it if I'm going to the beach or if I'm going to the pool. But we see so much sun on a daily basis. There's those little bits. So if we can protect, we can do really well. And then I also counter that with if you're protecting so well, most of us are low in vitamin D. So definitely talk to your doctor or supplement with vitamin D because we need the sun for that, you know, in our bodies.
I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but are you more of a proponent of orally taking vitamin D or people get shots of vitamin D?
I take a pill. I take 5,000 units daily and I just stay above normal with that. Most people are very low. And even if you're in that low range, I want you to, normally the range is about 30 or to about just over 100 if you're looking at the range. I like to stay at 60 or above. Okay. You don't want to go too high because there is a study that showed that people had a risk of falls when their vitamin D was in excess.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it's harder to get in a diet. So definitely taking it oral would be helpful.
It's easier now because we're transitioning into more sunshine. When we go through winter time, people are very, very low, but have a blood test done and find out what your numbers are. It's very important. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, now I knew about PRP from an orthopedic standpoint. I know a lot of my clients that I send to Dr. Richard Lehman, that's my expert in the orthopedic world. They have their PRP injections maybe in their knee or their hip, whatever, and they have remarkable results. But for the face, never knew about this. Okay, we're going to talk about that, microneedling things. If you have any questions, and we haven't had a chance to look at your comments yet, feel free to do so. We're on multiple platforms for you right now. So drop in your comments. If we don't get a chance to see them live, I'll be sure to interact with you. And she does a great job of that as well. So you will be heard. Don't go anywhere. More with Dr. Sarah Jensen when we return.
Well, hello, my friends. My name is John O'Leary. I was just on the Real Monica Adams show, and it was an amazing experience for me and hopefully for the viewers and listeners as well. What I found sitting down with Monica is the idea of being real is maybe something we use for social media or website or to separate us from others, but it may not be something you experience very often in the real world. Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with our viewers and our listeners. And through her authenticity and through her honesty and vulnerability, I followed. It was an incredible conversation. We were real about struggle, real about life, real about endurance, real about family, real about faith, and real about the truth that the foundation is firm, that God is still God, that there's reason for hope, and that the best is yet to come. So for those of us who occasionally struggle with being real or being filled with hope or being renewed in a season of struggle, I can't tell Monica and her viewers, listeners, and producers thank you enough for allowing me to be real during the hour together. So for this time, and until next time, my name is John O'Leary. Today is your day. What a gift it is. Live inspired and stay real.
And welcome back again. Thanks for tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show. My guest, Dr. Sarah Jensen from Regional Dermatology. And before we get into PRP, again, things we just talked about going into the break, we want you to be heard as well. Before we go into that, are you a blues fan?
Oh, yeah. I stayed up to the end.
You stayed up to the end? Okay,
Yeah.
she's like, look, I can't believe you went to bed. I'm a diehard. I know, but I wanted some sleep.
I hear
couldn't
that too.
believe it.
Yeah.
I actually, Jim didn't even know. He was driving in the car and he goes, you got to be kidding me. They lost so many people. They were up 3-1 and you would have thought for sure that they were going to pull this one out. So yeah, sad to see the season end. That's 1. 2, are you a Mexican food fan?
I love Mexican.
So what's your favorite?
I like Pueblo Solis.
Yes.
I heard you talking about that. And then a favorite of mine, Taqueria Morita, but they closed.
Oh.
But I think you can still get some of their food at another place in U City.
Oh,
Yeah.
And what was it called?
Taqueria Morita.
I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Again, I want to know new places to go. I always support Pueblo Solis, and they just celebrated 27 years, and we'll show you some video from that when we get ready to bring Babs on in just a little bit. But I also am a big fan of Ruiz. So if you're asking about me, it is Pueblo Solis and Ruiz, diehard favorites of both of those. That's up in Florissant.
Okay.
And it is incredible. And again, 2 businesses that have been around for a long, long time. So a lot of people saying good morning and happy Monday. Hello to all of you. Somebody said 3 seconds to disappointment. On the bright side, it's only 4 months until the Blues 2020-26 season starts up again. Yes, good morning. Let's see, as far as gardening goes, there's plenty of time. Have you planted yet?
I just dug up all the old foliage just last night. So we're ready to go.
See, it's smart. You have to wait. Tomatoes, ideal time, mid-May. Peppers, sweet potatoes, etc. a bit later. Okay, well, thank you, Joe. Look at you. Sad the Blues lost, yes. Good morning to all of you. And for those that are welcoming in Dr. Sarah and you have questions for her, Julie said the bruising cream is awesome. Thank you, Dr. Jensen. I don't know about this bruising cream.
Yeah, I just got it from one of my colleagues, created it, and it's got arnica in it, some other items in it, but I know arnica is the big one, but you use it on a regular basis to decrease bruising.
Interesting. So arnica I use for sore muscles. I think it's one of the best things out there. So I was just telling my assistant Jenny about arnica, and she's like, where do I get that? And it's much more readily available now than it used to be. So arnica, remember that. Jenny says, I do use the snail products. Good morning. And so let's see. Anne, good morning, Sarah and Monica. Welcome back. What type of probiotic do you recommend? Have a great day.
You want a probiotic that has a variety of the probiotic in there of the organism. And I personally like orthomolecular. It's just we had her on actually. She's great. And I know they have a lot of integrity with their product. There's others that I use, Designs for Health and Life Sciences, but I carry orthomolecular. I know they carry a lot of their product at Webster Pharmacy. It's a small little pharmacy. They carry a lot of their items because they don't sell directly to the public, so you have to find someone who carries it.
Fantastic. And then great to see you, Dr. Sarah. That's from Julie. I go to the pool 3 times a week. Is it good to shower afterwards? Stephanie's asking.
I always shower after the pool or hot tub. It's not really, pools are clean, but not that clean. And you also want to get that chlorine off of your skin. It can be very drying.
Yes. Let's see. Yes. Wear the sunscreen and get your skin checked. I'm getting a 4th spot of skin cancer removed in a couple of weeks. I'm not a sun worshiper, just more at risk. Dr. Sarah, welcome back from Rose. Summer is coming. I love the sun, spend a lot of time out in the sun, but I'm getting older. My son says all face sun lotion is toxic, but I can't afford sun on my older face. What are your thoughts?
You mean like sunscreen?
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, so I don't think of the mineral-based sunblocks is so toxic. There's zinc, they're titanium, they're out in the environment, and so I do think there's some question about because if you put that on, it's like what the surfers wear with the real white look. Now we make it with nanoparticles, so it's so small that it can just distribute amongst your skin. There is thought about how much we absorb these nanoparticles. I don't know that the data is out there. But we do know that the sun is, damaging to the skin.
Sure.
So we do know that. And so I've told you before, I think sun is like chocolate. You can get little bits throughout the day, but you don't want to lay out it. You don't want to eat chocolate all day, right?
No.
So you don't want to lay out in the sun all day. So I think there's little bits of sun that can be healthy. But overall, I do think a sunblock is a smart choice with the data we know now.
And ladies, you probably might want to ask this question. Okay, I buy my creams, my moisturizers, even my foundation that I put on, and it says it has SPF in it. Is that enough?
I prefer to have my sunblock, and I use a tinted one, so sometimes that can suffice as my kind of foundation. That Blasoma product, it's photonic. It's named after manipulation of light rays, which she has so much nuance in her products. And it has a little peach tint, and the tint comes from some kind of algae in Hawaii. I mean, there's all this data in her product that I love.
So we could use that as our foundation then.
I do. I love that.
Oh, I love that. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Sarah. Welcome back, by the way. So yes, any questions? And I'm looking right now on Facebook. We can jump over to some of the other platforms, or I can have Zach and Jen let me know if there's questions or comments on any of our other platforms. If you don't know, tell your family and friends that we are also on YouTube and X and Instagram and Rumble and LinkedIn, all of those platforms for you. And they keep growing and growing. I know we've added more since you were on last time. And we have our audio podcast, by the way, that drops on Thursdays. And we'll be putting this one on that because I think a lot of you need to know these things to take care of you and to take care of others. Okay, so PRP, first of all, let's say what it is and the fact that you're using it in dermatology. I've never heard of this.
Right. So we've used PRP, platelet-rich plasma. So we basically draw blood from a patient, we spin it down in a centrifuge, and at the top there's this layer that's kind of a clear but a little yellowish layer that we then extract out, and it has all these growth factors in it. So like you said, people use it in orthopedic. We use it for hair loss. We also use it for skin rejuvenation. It's basically putting cells in and growth factors wherever you're injecting it, whether it's a knee or a hip or in the scalp. It's going to try to replicate those cells that it's being injected to. So it can help regrow hair. It can help with the joints. And of course, we don't use it in that way. And we use it now with microneedling. So a lot of people know what microneedling is. And everywhere, skin pen, vampire facial, all these terms for it. It's basically like little micro injuries to the skin. There's a pen that it looks like a pen, and that tip that you see is we take that off. It's changed out with every patient. And it has these little micro pins that go through the skin. It sounds like it would be painful, and it can look painful, like right there. So you can draw a little bit of, pinpoint bleeding from it. But that's two of my staff working on. We had a staff appreciation day. We brought everybody in and we treated everyone. And it feels more like kind of a mechanical toothbrush on the skin. I mean, there are some areas that can be a little more tender, upper lip, nose. But overall, people, the staff and patients don't complain about the pain. And so what we do, microneedling can be done in any spa or salons, but we use it in a different way where we draw the platelet-rich plasma out. And if you're thinking about these little channels in the skin, we're kind of replacing your collagen, your elastin with the PRP. We're putting all those growth factors into those channels of the skin to help regrow, replenish, reduce fine lines, wrinkles, and really plump the skin.
Oh, so again, some people may have experienced microneedling as they've gone to a med spa or an esthetician. So how is what you're doing differing? You're going a little bit deeper.
Right.
You're right. A little bit more, obviously more from a medical standpoint.
Right. We can kind of push the boundaries and, in a safe manner, but we can really push those boundaries of how deep we go with the microneedling. Also, drawing the blood, I'm not sure how much they're doing in spas. They may, but you definitely have to have some oversight there.
Right.
And so having that extra layer of using the PRP really can boost it.
So if someone's going to go in and have this done with you, what are the things that are happening for them to say, oh, well, I want to have that done? What is it used for mostly?
Fine lines, wrinkles, the spots that we have on the skin. We can even use other things. There's like peptides and different topicals that help with like lightening the skin, evening out skin tone. So patients coming in and they want to just refresh the skin. Also acne scars, the little divots from acne scarring, that's a huge issue for some young women and men. So we use it for that as well.
Fantastic. Again, if you have any comments or questions for our doctor, either for today's show or something that you may want her to cover in the future, let us know that. So she's going to be back with us once a month. Michelle just said, so happy you're back, Dr. Jensen, and looking just as ever. I know your skin always is just ridiculous. Jenny says so many foundations have SPF in it now. The market is really changing with that, and I love that. Yes, but again, it's that extra protection that we're wanting for you. Good morning, ladies. What is the best thing for crepey skin?
Crepey skin's a tough one. Excuse me. I'm kind of dabbling in collagen myself, ingesting it, the powder that people put in their coffee or just water. There's not a ton of data on it, whether ingesting the collagen in that manner where it ends up really. Does it end up in the skin? Does it deposit in the skin? I don't know. I think if you get a well-ranked, like the orthomolecular product, Nutrafol is another good one that does good collagen and, reputable product. I think that might help. I think crepey skin is tough. Tightening skin can be really difficult as we get older. One thing that I do notice is we've had Becky Lynn on, the OB-GYN.
I have actually told several people, but she really did blow me away.
Well, just so you know, we did a 3-part. Last month I gave a talk on dermatology and really in menopausal skin. Tonight at Evora, I believe it's 6 to 9. She's giving a culinary talk. You do have to sign up, I think, on her website or give a call to Evora, but it's about menopause as well. And so in the different treatments. So with that, I do believe that replacing the hormones that we lose in perimenopause and menopause around 45 to 55 or so, and maintaining those, whether with, systemic estrogen, if you can take it. We've talked about some people can't take it, right? And also some people are using topical estrogen now, and I'm one of them. I've used the estrogen cream on my face. You do have to be careful if you're not wanting systemic estrogen. It's possible you may still absorb that.
Right.
I take systemic, so it doesn't bother me, but estrogen has been shown to heal wounds, build collagen, and although there's not enough data out there, we definitely need more studies. I think it has some, benefit.
But again, this is the reason why we always stress to be your own health advocate and to find that medical professional that works really well with you, understands you, really listens to you. And that's what Dr. Jensen will do for you. Jim literally asked me last night, he said, hey, as you're getting older, why does your skin get drier and drier and drier no matter how much lotion you're putting on, right? So I would train these elderly clients and they would feel so bad because they would get off the machines and they'd have all this skin and they're like, I'm sorry, honey. And I was like, they go, I swear I put lotion on, but why does that happen?
Well, males and females go through menopause together. So, and with that change, we do lose our sebaceous glands. They start to produce less oil. Sebaceous glands are our oil glands in the skin, and we do produce less oil. And I think also sometimes we don't hydrate as well. We may not have the hunger or thirst as we did when we were younger, so we're not really great about hydrating as well. I do think replenishing the skin. I love coconut oil, olive oil, Vaseline, Aquaphor. The greasier, the better. Now that's kind of messy, right? When we're getting dressed, we can't do a whole lot of that, for the day. But at nighttime, that's a great time to really lube up with a good, thick moisturizer. I'm not saying tallow, but
we're not going back to the snails and tallow again.
But my sister-in-law does say she can cook with it and use it on her skin. So there is that.
Hey, dual
benefit.
purpose. Again, we want you to know about Regional Dermatology. So I'm going to show her a picture. I should have gotten ready for this morning. I just thought about this. Last night I had, and I've had it for a while now. I used to be involved with, I don't think they exist anymore, but Secret products. So it was like the Mediterranean Sea. So SEACRET. Not sure. I used to sell those. I'm not involved with it anymore. So I have nothing to do with this. I'm just going to let you know I did love a lot of their products. And I forgot that I had this mud bath. Oh my gosh. You should see. I look like I was camouflaged, like I was getting ready to go out and hunt. I had it. I literally, except for don't put it on your face, they said, not this one, but there is I did have a mud facial that I use as well. Actually, it was a magnetic thing. And so you put it on for like 3 to 5 minutes and then you have this magnet and it pulls it off. Oh, it's fascinating.
Wow.
I got to show you all these things, but I was from head to toe filled with mud and I'm thinking, how is this bathtub going to, it actually went off like that, but I feel silky smooth this morning.
That's
so
great.
Are you a fan at all of people like they go to spas and stuff and they'll do these kind of full body mud. Mud's good for us?
I've done those too. I went with my mom to Marietta Hot Springs in California, and we did the same thing laying in the mud bath. It is a lot of fun.
I'm not recommending you just roll around the mud. The kids like to do that, and pigs like to do it. They must know something. All right, Regional Dermatology. Again, she's going to be back with us next month. So load us up with questions or comments that you want us to feature on a future show. Let's show you where she's located so that you can get to her locations. Again, her original in Festus, and then she opened up just over a year ago in Chesterfield as well. So you can find the one that works best for you, and then also go online. You can follow. Are you on social?
I am.
Active?
We're on Instagram and Facebook. I'm fairly active.
Okay.
I say we're too busy taking care of patients to be that.
I know, we always need that extra person. But no, you do. I think you've done a lot more than when we first brought you on.
For sure.
I'm so happy to see you again.
Me too.
You just light me up. Again, Dr. Sarah Jensen, this is the dermatologist I want you to know and trust. So reach out to her. And if you didn't get all that information, just go back. That's the beauty of streaming. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, Babs, Barbara Streisand was known as Babs, but I think she's going to take the top spot here. Barbara Goldson, Brian McKenna's best friend. We remember the life of an incredible soul. And I just got a chill. So yes, Brian just entered the room. I can feel it. It's going to be an emotional ride, folks. Just get ready for it. Don't go anywhere.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
Being on this show with Monica created such a heart-centric experience. I feel elevated. I feel more in tune, more connected with people. I really enjoyed how Monica brings in the audience and how Monica's viewers are just incredibly engaged. And so it actually creates this community and a conversation that is so enjoyable. You can see, Monica get excited, and then as her guest, I was getting excited, and then more and more comments were coming in from Monica's incredible, loyal audience, and it just created this uplifting feeling to start your day. So much of our news is negative. So much of what we're allowing to enter into our brains through our TVs, through our radios, through social media is negative. And what is refreshing for me in joining Monica on her incredible show is just the focus on the positivity. It is an honor to be on the Monica Adams, the real Monica Adams show, and also to just be able to engage with Monica's audience, because this community is full of love and full of people who want to help each other.
I guess we're besties now. We used to be neighbors. Yeah. And you used to get pissed off because Jeff, Rick, and I used to play loud music at night on the balcony.
But we don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore. Babs set the tone early in this relationship. She actually came out one night at 1.
1, exactly.
I think you had your robe on. By the way, episode 2 had over 2,200 views within like the first 36 hours. I haven't looked in over 100 comments. So please, feel free to comment, share this, tell your friends about the Brian and Babs show.
There you are. The truth comes out.
All right.
Oh, okay.
But what do you think of the lighting, Babs? Because we're worried that we may have to turn around eventually when the sun...
I think it's fine.
You think it's good today?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
And we're trying today without the ring light.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot the ring light cord, so we're ready to get after it.
Yeah, of course.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
we're on.
We nailed that. Who knew? I say it every week. They never thought we'd last this long.
Well, no, I never thought.
Well,
someone might have.
I told you, the Washington Post had an article about us saying we weren't going to last this long. TMZ, the paparazzi outside every day looking for Babs.
And welcome back again. He makes you laugh, he makes you cry, he makes you think, and that's what our dear friend Brian McKenna was all about. I was blessed to meet him in my early career when I first started covering sports 3 decades ago, and we were acquaintances, and then I love how life brought us back together and became good friends. Let me introduce you to his best friend, Babs. Babs, it is an honor to have you in studio with me.
Thank you, and I'm so happy to meet you at last. I've been a fan for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Really.
I loved every possible moment I could. I watched the two of you at 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoons, and it was eerie, and you tell me if you felt the same thing. Your last show with him, there were some technical problems, and anybody that's in this field, we know it happens. Lighting issues, audio issues. He was so upset because he had done this, right, with you week after week after week, and he didn't do anything different, but it flipped on you all.
It did.
Right?
But what you don't know is he always had difficulty setting up, even though he said he didn't. But this one was really a big boo-boo.
Yeah, and you were sideways.
Right, exactly.
And you were like, hey, I can't. That's not what we're going to talk to you today.
And, I'm kind of off balance anyway. So I said, that's okay. We can work with this.
He was so upset, though, right?
Oh, he was.
And you'll be able to tell us more about the behind the scenes. We love the behind the scenes moments. But the show started, and when I got the horrible news that he had passed, I went back like we all did. And I don't even know how many thousands and thousands and thousands have now rewatched that show. But it was less than 5 minutes in that he finally gets the show working, and see, I got chill. And the eerie comment of, well, this will probably be our last show. And it was.
It was. And, he always said, it was so funny. He always said, this is going to be a short show. And
yeah, I know. And it was an hour and a half later.
An hour and a half later, I would say, and I just kept going. And he kept feeding me. He was a great person for feeding me lines. He knew just what buttons to push.
Absolutely.
And so I picked it up and ran with it. Yeah, it was prophetic. It was. And I think about that often.
Yeah.
And the things that he said, I really do think about it. Yeah.
There were 2 things, Babs. It was that one, and then he started talking about walking because he had just been to the St. Pat's parade, and he talked about walking, and there it was, walking along the highway, walking along the streets.
Well, I had never been to the St. Patrick's Day parade down in Dogtown. So the year before last, he said, Babs, take me and drop me off. And I said, well, isn't it far away? He said, no, just drop me off here. And it was on Manchester someplace. Mm-hmm. And I was shocked to see people only walking to it. And I said to him, well, what are you going to do? He said, don't worry about it, just to go home. So I did. And so a policeman picked him up on a little golf cart, so he didn't have to walk at all. And that was the way it was for him.
Well, weren't there some girls that brought him home this past time?
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, indeed.
I don't think we know the whole story about what happened.
No, I don't think actually.
If you're just tuning in, this is Babs. Again, I want to welcome her to our show, and I'm excited because this isn't the only show that we're going to do. I am honored to come to your home.
I'm excited about that.
We're going to sit down together and we're going to do that Thursday afternoon show at 4:00. And should we do the STDs at that point? Do y'all know what that is? If you watch the show, it was shit to do for the weekend.
That's right.
I just had to, his humor was unmatched. If you didn't know Brian McKenna, but I tell you what, we're going to give you all that we possibly can to get to know him. And we more so want you to come out because maybe you can feel the vibe that he put out there. The vibe attracts your tribe, right? He would always say that. You two would say it at the end of the show, which I love.
That's right. That's right.
And it really was. So before we go on, so she handed this to me, and what a beautiful picture of him.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love this man. In loving memory of Brian Thomas McKenna. So September 22nd, 1963 is when he was born. And unfortunately, we lost him on March 22nd of this year. Forever remembered, forever missed. And then an Irish blessing. You want me to read this?
Wonderful.
May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. And may the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. Faith, family, and friends. And again, your vibe attracts your
And he
tribe.
believed that, every word of it, every word. And we would often talk about it. And he loved his Irish heritage.
Yes, he did.
He did. He was Irish.
The McKenna family, I mean, come on. They all were very, very proud of
they're
it.
wonderful, actually. And you'll see some of the pictures that I have been given.
Yes.
Hanging on my wall.
Absolutely.
And people would say, I'm sorry, excuse me for crying. And one of his friends said, oh, don't worry, he's Irish. He cries all the time. And guess what? He did. You could make him cry.
he had a heart of gold.
Babies and people who've not had any hope in life.
Yes.
That was his mission. He wanted to give hope.
Yep.
And he did.
Oh, he gave so much hope, and the amount of charitable work that man did. That was the first thing, Babs, I think we all went there in our minds when we knew that he had lost his life. Immediately It was, how do we keep that vibe alive?
And do you know that show, about 12 hours in, had 75,000 likes. I couldn't believe it.
Because we all just wanted to go back and say, there's no way that this is it. And we want to hear anything we can possibly hear from him.
That's right, we do.
And we want you to keep watching that. So, if you never saw the two of them together, let me just tell you, you missed out. It was funny because I'm going to find out how you all started this. Before we get to that, today's Cinco de Mayo. So this would have been a huge day for him to go down to Pueblo Feliz.
This was it for him.
This was the holiday. So I have a video that I took because we want to congratulate them. I just went over there to celebrate with them for their 27th anniversary.
Right.
And I want you all to go and support them today. So here's the video, by the way. If you didn't get a chance to go to their 27th anniversary, this was their celebration. What am I hearing? Oh, okay. So he's going to grab that for us. We'll get it in just a second. So again, they had their 27th anniversary. Pueblo Feliz.
He loved their seafood wrap. He loved it. And I would have to agree with it. And there's no one that does make the food the way Al Solis does. It is the best in the city.
I agree.
I will tell you, traditionally, he would take me there for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, we would go to Matthew's, Unger's, but he closed it. And I had such a cake. It was, Al called it a cheesecake. I have never seriously had anything like it.
Really? I don't think I've ever had that.
You have to try it. Make sure you let him know. I will tell you, it's the best cheese. It's not really a cheesecake, the traditionally. I was blown away by it. I said, oh my goodness. And he liked everything. And he would bring me home little tidbits that Al would send me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I do.
You're the VIP.
I did love it. Lots of little goodies that would come from Al. And he loved being there, and he loved the food. Yes. I mean, you could not. That's the thing I love. Here, we'll show you the video here. We got it back up now. Congratulations to them.
And they will be on our show very, very, very soon, our cooking segment.
I will watch
I
it.
want to get the margarita recipe. She won't give it up.
Oh, no, she won't. No,
She's like, we can make it, but can I just
You
have
can-
it made in advance?
Well, you can try it. Keep making it until you get it. and
We
drink
won't get. We guys zoomed in on it. So 27 years. Congratulations to the entire staff at Pueblo Solis. Again, if you've never been, maybe today's the day you go and you'll see the homage to Brian there
Yeah.
when you walk in right
Oh, it's
to
quite-
the left.
Quite a homage. Yeah.
So the straw. Tell us about the straw that's sitting there. Do you know about the straw that they have?
Yeah, I do. I don't remember that much.
I think it was
about
because he would drink out of everybody else's drinks. If
Well,
I'm correct on that.
And that is true. And if you watch the show, every now and again, I would say, "Can I have a taste of that?" He would say, "Oh yeah," and it didn't bother him. And so I would be sipping his his drink, and he had some really unusual drink, very unusual. And but after I had the accident, there was no alcohol for me, which is a pity.
I was going to say, we're going to
that-
give you a mocktail when I sit down with you next week.
That's a pity.
Sorry.
I'm looking forward to returning.
Your drink of choice would have been?
I'm a wine drinker.
Yeah, I know you, and I wanted to share some wine with you. But
I really, and I'm not a Chardonnay drinker, but my son gave me one from the state of Washington that I will tell you, it outdid anything you have ever tasted for a Chardonnay.
Really?
Oh, I will get the name of it because
please.
It is wonderful, and I would drink that anytime.
I love Chardonnay. You know what? And we were just in Fredericksburg, Texas, and who knew they have 100 wineries there, Babs. They're being called the next Napa Valley. And so one of the ladies said, "You like Chardonnay?" And I said, "I do." And you know what? I haven't had it in a long time. I'll have to find that one for you.
Yeah, find it.
We'll share.
Well, I think Rob knows about that. My son, Austin,
Washington State again.
Yeah, definitely.
So many good wineries out there. By the way, if you want to drop in a comment, I know a lot of you are watching and you couldn't wait to have Babs on.
And I'm glad to be on with my friends.
They're all on here for it. Well, for those of you that have to go off to work, we understand, but that's the beauty of streaming, that we can have you come back and watch the show at a later basis. So Michelle just said, Kristen just said, "So miss Brian, his laugh and love of everyone. Incredible loss. Thanks for carrying him on. Babs is awesome." That was from Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
Let's see, Monica, thank you for having Babs on. We were all worried about her. That was the number one thing. And so that's actually how this kind of started, that I friend requested you. And then I tried to reach out and I was like, can somebody tell her that I'm trying to get a hold of her? Because as we all did, immediately it was, how is she doing? We're so worried about her. And so that is the number one question. How are you doing?
You know something? I finished the tears. I'm now into celebrating what I had with him. I celebrate it every day. And it's interesting. I knew his complete routine. He knew my routine. And every morning I still look for the 6 o'clock light to go on in his kitchen to make his coffee. So we knew each other, everything about each other. And but I'm celebrating what he gave me. It was a gift. He was a gift for me in life. I learned a lot from Brian McKenna. He took me and he kind of loosened me up a little bit. I was very straight and narrow.
Well, isn't that how I know the story. How many years ago was it when you first met him and you weren't happy with the loud music that he used to play?
Oh, that's the least of it. 15 years ago. And he, one night, I heard this ruckus going on and I heard all this stuff. And it was underneath my bedroom window. And then his friend, Jeff Rick, took out the trumpet. And I said, that's it. I went out and I told them, you are not to do this anymore. 11 o'clock is your deadline. And I said, on special days, there are 4 a year, you get 2 a.m. And I said, and if you think that's not true, I will call the police. And do you know what he said to me?
Go ahead.
Good luck. He said, I
know them all.
Wait a minute. He said, they know me. And I said, that may be true, but they have to write down that I complained.
That's right.
And I said, now it's history if you do it. Oh, I did. And he actually observed what I said.
So he found respect for you, and eventually you end up becoming friends, and then you become best friends.
Yeah, well, it's more than that. It's a very different relationship. it was very different. I think that the people who watched the show picked up on the fringe of it, but to describe what it was for the both of us, his family, they get it. And I've been included in their family.
Of course you have.
I have.
You're a huge part of his life.
That's right. It's true. And so as I say, I will miss him always. Yeah. I carry him here, but I'm finished with the tears. I'm celebrating,
which is what he would want.
And I want you. Oh, and he's watching you and me. I'll tell you.
I felt him. And you right after he had passed, you celebrated a birthday, right?
I did, and traditionally, he took me to Pueblo.
Right.
But they decided to bring Pueblo to me. And so a very small group of people came. And my friend Gail set up the food, and Stacy from Pueblo. And, it was very wonderful. And there were little children there. I loved it. I had everything going.
I saw you dancing. I saw the video.
I was dancing.
Yeah, she's got it.
I can dance.
How are you feeling, by the way?
I feel much better. This has been a long trial.
Yeah.
I had another hip replacement, which was very easy. I was up and out and driving in 8 weeks, but that was a complete one. This one was not complete. I mean, I have a rod down here, but there have been little things along the way that have stopped the recuperation. And so I had to take a medication for UTI about 2 months ago, which it took me 10 weeks to get over. I lost my appetite. I couldn't look at coffee. I couldn't eat. And it was a sulfur-based drug, as most UTIs. And so it took me 10 weeks to come back and want a cup of coffee. Well, it was, yes, but I'm much better.
She's tough. She's tough.
He'll tell you.
Tough Boston girl.
Oh, I am. And actually, as I say, I'm not going down without a fight.
No.
I'm not.
Well, and he kept you strong and vice versa. But the thing that I loved, we're going to take a break here in just a second. The thing that I loved was the care that he had for you. And when people would go to tune in, it was, we're not going to do a show today because, Babs, this happened to her, or she's recovering, and all the outpouring of love and support for you.
Oh, it was wonderful. And he actually did everything for me. He did my laundry when I came home. He got my prescriptions picked up. He would get me food prepared. He did everything for me. Never once did he complain. I think that's unusual.
He loved you.
Yeah, and he did it when I was in rehab. I mean, people were blown away. They couldn't believe it, that this person is wandering around with my laundry.
Again, it started as the Brian and Babs show. We're going to take a break, and I want to know how quickly it came the Babs and Brian show, which, by the way, Brian, good job. That's how it should have been. Again, if you have any comments, we're going to start looking at those for you, and we'll show you some more of these wonderful clips from the connection of these two beautiful souls, and one that unfortunately is no longer with us, but we're going to keep his memory alive. And we'll tell you about the big event coming up at the end of this month. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell everybody to come out, because that's what he would want. Community together celebrating. Don't go anywhere.
Carroll House has the furniture you're dreaming of.
For big family gatherings, for entertaining friends, or just hanging out.
For working from home or resting after work.
For kids growing up or young adults moving out.
Whether you're updating your first home, your next home, or your dream home.
Whatever the reason you're shopping, we have the furniture you're dreaming of at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
Say hi to Jules from the Sisters Sandwich Shop.
Oh, yeah, Jules.
Great job on Monica Adams' show, too.
Yeah,
you and your sister crushed it.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushed it. Driver Joe said he's coming by in a window. Is that him? He's walking by. Is Driver Joe going to be walking by?
Is that us?
Yeah.
Are you sure? It's been so long that we got a live Babs and Brian show. So that's actually us.
That's right. That is the real us.
This is not being recorded right now.
No.
This is live on the... Are you telling me it's live?
It's live.
Okay, don't tell me what to do either.
I'm not
today.
going to tell you what to do
Okay.
while you're live.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Babs is back. Golf clap.
Yeah,
Golf clap. She's back.
and she's very happy to be back.
All right, so let's get to the favorite segment of the show. What is Babs wearing? So Babs, take it away.
So, the dress is made by American Giant. They grow organic cotton. I believe it's in South Carolina. They are just wonderful. I mean, you cannot believe the feel of this. And it's washable. It doesn't get all messy. I just love it. It's true comfort.
I was just going to say it looks extremely comfortable.
Oh, it's so comfortable.
And it almost goes to the floor.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Just what I thought. Made in heaven. Okay.
Yeah, you fashionista. You did love your fashion, right?
I did,
Yeah,
yeah. But it's very simple. I don't have that much, but I have a skill for mixing.
You do.
And matching.
And I love, I mean, if you watch the show, and again, if you're just tuning in, this is Babs. Let me introduce my audience to, again, Brian's best friend. And if you didn't know Brian McKenna, you really missed out on knowing a wonderful human being. But we're going to make sure that you know him, that you love him, and that you get out to his big day that is coming up at the end of this month. So let's get to some of the comments and the questions. A lot of people saying good morning. A lot of people are saying it's so good to see you. Love you and think of you often, Babs. Missing our dear friend Brian. That's from Debbie Needy.
Yeah, Debbie. Yeah, hello, Debbie.
And then we've got Pat Cole. So wonderful to see Babs. Think of her often, but especially on Thursday afternoons at 4
Thank
o'clock.
you, Pat. Yep.
Right? Missed that show. Terry says, you look beautiful as usual, Babs. Terry, thank you. We miss Thursday night so much. Right. We're going to do everything we can to make you laugh again. We're going to, she and I are going to talk over the next week because we're going to sit down and we're going to pay homage to Brian. We're going to make you laugh. Well, who knows? You might cry, but as Babs said so eloquently, he wouldn't want us to keep crying. He would want you to celebrate his life, which is exactly what the end of this month is going to be about. Maria Heatherton says, hi, Babs. Love you.
Maria. Oh, it's good to hear from Maria.
Rosie Pass. Love you, Babs.
Hi, Rosie. She's bringing me pasta this week.
Good. She make sure she eats. Miss Brian every day. Robin Poorer says, so nice to see beautiful Babs. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on your special gift. Brian McKenna. Sherry Emily says, I'm so glad I followed the natural. Oh, that's a spam. How many spams did you get when you and Brian were, because he had thousands and thousands of views. Would you get scammers?
I got some, but I did not have that many.
See, I start to read those and realize they want you. Don't click on that link. That's Sherry Emily. We're going to, if Jenny hasn't already removed that person, these people, see how popular you are? They're trying to scam and get people to click on links.
Know, as I said to him, I became a star.
You are a star.
I'm a star.
There's no Barbara Streisand. This is the real Babs.
Even before the show, people would go by because he put me on Facebook and they would wave to me and talk to me.
Did they ask for your autograph?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay, we're going to get that happening.
Oh, that'll happen.
It will happen. Chris says, I am so glad to see you on the show today, Babs. I was so worried about you as soon as I heard about Brian.
Thank you, Chris.
Two of you were so good for each other. My friends knew Brian well. Whenever we would eat at Pueblo Solis, Brian would come up to our table and just talk to the entire time standing there, talking to us, making us laugh, which is what he did wonderfully. Right. It was like he was doing stand-up. He wanted to make sure he met everyone if it was their first time. Yeah. He would greet you right away.
True.
He also helped me when I rescued a dog from Stray Rescue's help, kind heart, and wild mouth. Wild mouth is true. Debbie says, I can't see my screen through the tears. I've been so worried about Babs.
Debbie, I'm sorry.
I missed the Thursday evening show. Babs and Brian were an unbelievable team.
She was a great follower of us.
Yeah. Michelle says, U.S. New England gals are a tough breed. Us New England gals are a tough breed.
That's right.
Let's see. My alarm still goes off on Thursdays at 4:30 with a little tear. I suppose God needed him more than we did.
We'll discuss that.
That's
when we do the show.
So we're going to save that for next week?
I think so.
Let's hang on to that one because that's what we all said. Sarah said, I love their chemistry, B&B. That was the thing that, yes. And then May 31st, by the way, is Brian McKenna Day. Let's go ahead and say this before we move on. So Stephanie and I have been working together and we were showing this flyer on a regular basis. Your vibe attracts your tribe, the Brian McKenna Day. And again, for donations or any questions, there's the email address on your screen. But Stephanie was talking with my assistant Jenny, and she's like, I really want to get the message out. This isn't a parade like the parades you think of like he always loved to go to, right? St. Pat's or anything else like that. It is to remember him. J.C. Corcoran, who worked with Brian.
Oh, I know.
Longtime friend of his. He's going to be up emceeing, and then family members and dear friends of Brian's are going to come up. It is to honor him. So it's not. People have been reaching out to her evidently and saying, hey, I want to get a float in the parade. It's not that.
No,
right?
No, it's not. No.
There's a portion of the streets that will be blocked off, and then we all make our way to Francis Park, which was directly across from you all.
That's
and
right.
You cannot bring coolers in because there are a lot of restaurants that Brian was big on supporting that will have food there. So we want you to purchase food there, and then all of these.
And he was very strong about that. For any function that happened in the park, he would say, don't bring him.
Yeah.
Buy support.
Yeah, support local.
Yeah, do it, yes.
And when we do that, by the way, so we're supporting local, and then they're turning around and giving back. And the money from these T-shirts that are out there, all of this is going to support these wonderful charities that Brian, that was near and dear to his heart.
He would love this.
I know. That's what he's lit up about, right?
This.
So that's the thing that sometimes people try to make sense of it all but why? A man that lit up this world, a man that loved life more than you could possibly imagine, a man that had suffered through so much. Why? Why so tragically taken? That's the thing we're going to hang on to, because so many people, Babs, I'm sure you've seen this, when something happens like this, they start to question God and they start to turn away instead of leaning in more. And I lean in more. Otherwise, I feel lost. You agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree for you. That's true.
Yeah.
I think that he grew up with a faith, and I would go with him sometimes to the cemetery, and we'd just visit his parents, and he would stand there, and I would back off because it was a personal thing for him.
Sure.
And he would talk to his mother and father. And when he was finished, I always got up and I put my hand on the headstone and I would say, Jenny, I'm trying. I'm doing my best. And I'm sure she heard me.
He loved her. Well, he loved his whole family.
He loved.
But his mother.
Oh, his mom. Oh.
What a beautiful, first of all, aesthetically beautiful, but
yes,
I think every year you saw the video that he posted when he surprised her at Oprah. And how do you not cry in that? You mentioned the Irish coming out, the tears in her, the tears in him, his hand on on her leg, and Oprah. I mean, what a beautiful way. That's how they wrapped up the show. And she didn't know that she was going to go up on stage, but
no.
What an incredible Mother's Day present.
What and I watch that again and again because it shows such a unique relationship again. And she adored them all.
Yeah.
But I think.
You think that, well, we won't say it because the family's watching. You think he was the favorite?
I think he needed her to be his favorite. That's what I think, frankly. And I think they would agree. And Mary Ellen, his sister, will get
agree
it when she's watching this. I think he needed it.
Again, we're talking about Brian McKenna. If you're just tuning in, and we are going to go overtime today because this isn't going to be a short show.
That's right.
We're going to go longer. Let's go ahead and show that picture of his beautiful mother and him, and just the smile on his face, the energy that he got from her, and how she just absolutely lit him up. And again, that special memory on Oprah. I love to watch that. So Mother's Day coming up. I think it was just very fitting that we had you on right before because of what she meant to him, but also what you all meant to him. I mean, that's really what carried him forward. Any of us that work in this business, it's the energy you get off of you listening to us in radio or you watching us in TV. And he did all of that. And you kept him wanting to level up a whole nother notch. He was an incredible broadcaster. He was an incredible sportscaster. But more importantly, the humor that man had, my husband and I would wake up in the morning and I would see something that Brian wrote and I would read it off to Jim, and Jim would be bellied over
laughing and going, that man is effed up. He's like, what is wrong with his mind? I don't know, where did his mind go?
It happens with him. It was a talent.
Yes.
You just give him a word and he flew with it.
Yes. And the things he would say, and somebody said earlier, the mouth that he had on him, sometimes it's what made me laugh, Babs. He would say things and you were like, don't try to pull me into that.
Don't. Oh, listen, I had more don'ts than you could imagine. I gave up at the end. On the last show, I give up.
He would talk about porn. I'm sorry. I would laugh so hard because he would say the names of these porn flicks, and you were like, oh yeah, I did that. And he goes, you did porn? And you're like, stop it, Brian. You're like, I did not. I'm not even giving any notice to what you're saying. Right. Sometimes you were just like, stop. Just stop.
Just stop it,
Can
please.
we move on? He did. When we come back, we're going to play some of the man laws, and then we're going to talk more about the incredible life of Brian McKenna. And again, please mark it on the calendar. We're going to be there, all of us, on May 31st. We cannot wait for the entire community. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be, there's not going to be where to move in Francis Park.
Stephanie has thought with the number, but I have gone way beyond what she thinks.
Oh, okay. Hang on for that. I'm actually interested to see how many you think. Hold on. We'll find out. And you all can drop in comments as well. How many people do you think will come out for Brian McKenna Day on May 31st? We'll find out when we come.
Hello everyone, Joe Thomas here with Weingarten Vineyard here. Just had a great day at the set of The Real Monica Adams Show. I think the biggest takeaway and the biggest word for the day for me is passion. You can see with her craft of how passionate that she is to provide a different view from what she had done in her past career, now in a new career. She made today so easy, and it was easy for me as well, because we share that passion for what we do. When it's doing interviews on set, giving a different view on life, essentially, and different experiences for you guys. Today could not have gone better. I most definitely encourage you guys to continue to tune in to her shows, and maybe you'll see me back again. You will see me back again. Sorry, Monica.
These are some of Brian's man laws. Number one, under no circumstances may two men share an umbrella. Under no circumstances.
Is this out of his drawer?
Also,
Is it?
Number two, it is okay for a man to cry only under the following circumstances. When a heroic dog has died saving its master, seems reasonable, after wrecking your boss's car. Another. Number three. And these, by the way, this is out of Brian's copious notes and stuff that I've been going through. So this is in his own hands.
Yeah, he ain't making this up. This is
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to make it up, I can guarantee. So, number three, any man who brings a camera to a bachelor party may be legally killed and consumed by his buddies. Number 4, unless he murdered someone in your family, you must bail a friend out of jail within 12 hours.
Specific.
Pretty reasonable. I have a few friends who have come through. Number 5, if you've known a guy for more than 24 hours, his sister is officially off limits. Unless you actually marry her.
His sister is officially off limits. And yes, and I love the one where he talks about that men going into the bathroom, don't have a conversation. Don't just sit there and talk to a guy in there. That's just wrong. So many of these things. Again, if you haven't seen the entire video, you must. Because
you must.
It's so absolutely funny.
One of his favorite topics. Good Lord.
Man laws. By the way, so yes, I said that Francis Park. It's not going to Francis Park. Let me give you all the information. The street will be blocked off. Macklin between Devonshire and Nottingham. Okay, we're talking about Brian McKenna Day. Your vibe attracts your tribe on May 31st. There will be a small family procession, not a parade. We want to keep stressing this. Starting about 2:15, going down Macklin toward the Mac, where the main stage will be. Again, several people will be speaking after the procession as they remember Brian. Again, his top bar and restaurants will be there serving some of his favorite drinks and food.
That's right.
Including a 70s band and a DJ for entertainment. So the Mac, Pueblo Solis, JJ Twigs, and Biggie's sponsorships, donations still available. We want you to reach out to brianmckennaday@gmail.com. And as we mentioned before, all the money raised will be going to numerous charities, and there were so many that were near and dear to Brian. So if you want to come on out on the 31st, support the special day. How can you help? Again, food and drink portion of the sales will be donated to the Brian McKenna Memorial. No coolers. I'm going to stress this again. No coolers will be allowed that day. And rideshare program is recommended. So think about that. Saturday, May 31st from 2 to 7 on Macklin Avenue in South City. And again, South City boy, that he was so very proud of everything South City. So sorry about that with Francis Park. Yes, sorry about that. All right, let's go to some comments, Babs. And then Babs is going to tell us how many people she thinks that will be coming out that particular day. Rose said he had such grace with the F word.
Oh.
He would slip it in and you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even get embarrassed by it sometimes.
Well, I gave up. I told you.
Yeah.
And guess what? I secretly, not so secretly, would use it myself.
It just you're like, hey, I'm around it. What the heck? Susan Mers, thanks for having Babs on to share such good memories. Brian is so missed. Debbie said, I would watch the show with my earbuds on while making dinner.
Yeah,
as I was rolling laughing, my husband would say, what did he say now?
It's true.
Exactly. My brother knew Brian and is coming from Arizona for his day on the 31st. Tell Babs her outfit looks perfect. That's Elena Hessler?
Yes.
And then...
well, that's because she's my clothing buyer.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But she did. She does a fabulous job. Yeah,
she did. And again, a lot of people would always say, what's Babs wearing? You had some really beautiful colors also when you would do that afternoon show. And I was like, yeah, she looks fantastic today.
Thank you.
Shannon said, love you, Babs, and miss his laugh so much. Maria Heatherton says that Alana Hessler is a great stylist.
That's
so
right.
there you
That's
go.
right.
Let's see. Anybody else? Comments, questions? Feel free, by the way, because I know a lot of you can't watch live the entire show. You got to come back and watch all of it. Okay, so Babs, how many people do you think will come out on May 31st?
I'm going to say over 5,000.
I agree with you.
I think it's going to be much. Because he casts such a broad, and they come even little kids.
Yeah. Oh, well, he loved the kids, right?
Oh, please, dogs and babies. They loved the babies for some reason. Loved him.
His energy.
He would hold them, and they would smile at him, and they would sleep, and he loved it. They somehow sensed the goodness in him. I feel that's true.
Well, and I agree with you, right? Because we say this a lot, that kids and animals,
oh my goodness,
pay attention to the way they act, and if they don't like someone, then
that's
get
right.
that person out of your life.
That's right. and he would lost animals. I would see him get in the car and chase follow them around. People saw them and said they needed help. They would call him.
See, now, okay, Brian would have loved this, and my team went off on me. But Babs, tell me what you think Brian would have done. I pull up to my mom's house in Lake St. Louis, and I see this dog that's standing in the street, and then starts to run. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that dog's gonna get hit. My mom went inside. I stayed out there, and this guy comes walking up. This kid comes up on a scooter, and I go, is that your dog? And I go, that kid's going to scare the dog away. And he's like, no, it's not our dog. I go, oh, is it his dog? Because he probably shouldn't be chasing with the scooter, right? And the guy's like, no, it's not his either. I think he knows where the dog lives. So I'm not really concerned about this dog running around. It caught my attention because it had purple feet. It was a poodle. You know how they take them, they paint.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay. And then the guy goes, I think this is probably the owner. Well, here's a guy in overalls. So he's obviously not out for a jog with boots on, huffing and puffing. And I'm like, is this your dog? And he's like, yeah. And I go, do you want help? And he's like, uh-huh. I'm like, that's right. And so I run back into my mom's house and I'm like, I'll be back. And she's like, what? And I go, where's my keys? I'll be back. And she's like, where are you going? And I just jump in the car.
Absolutely.
And then he goes, oh, are we getting in the car? And I said, yeah. Now here's where I'm going to stop. My entire family and friends are like, that person could have been a murderer. I'm like, he was in overalls running. It's obviously him running after a dog. Brian would have done the same thing, wouldn't he have?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
I watched it. I would watch it happen.
We drove around for 15 minutes calling for that dog. Where's the dog? And I kept going, I can't believe the dog was found, by the way, had a happy ending. But thank you, Babs, because that's what a good human being does.
The chickens. We have a man, there's a great husband, has chickens in the back alley from us. He would go out and feed them he would call her and say, what do I feed them? Anything, she said. He would go out the minute they saw him.
They'd come to him?
They would come out right up to the fence.
Oh, most people have to chase a chicken.
I'm telling you, it was amazing. And he would take care of their little dog, their King Charles Spaniel. That dog knew where Brian lived. And one day they lost him. He was at his door. Sitting on the porch.
Waiting to be fed.
Waiting for him.
Yeah. The energy that man had. And the other part, so we talk about kids that he loved, and he would watch the kids go to school, right?
Yeah.
He was very big in the St. Gabe, St. Raphael right around the corner.
That's a great thing, by the way.
Yeah.
To hear
wave to Mr. McKenna, right? Wave to Manny up there. We'll talk about Manny in just a second. But he also had a deep, deep love, and this means the world to me because I am the wife of a police officer, a deep love for our first responders.
Oh.
And the St. Louis Hero Network.
Oh, absolutely. He really, and I personally back the police. I really back them.
Thank you.
And I want to see them get everything they deserve.
Yes.
And more.
Well, today, actually, I don't know if it started already, but today is a memorial breakfast that they have in St. Louis City for those that have lost their lives.
That's right. I knew that.
So we'll honor those. Okay. Yeah. So Manny. Though all of you know about Manny, the mannequin, right? So he was into kickboxing and martial arts and things like that. So it's one of those that you punch, and then he would dress them up. And when Brian went through the unfortunate aspects of his surgeries and his cancer fight, he had the little goggle that he had on, but so did Manny. Manny and him, just like you, were best friends. Tell me what Manny meant to him.
Manny was his buddy.
It was.
And he used Manny to give messages.
Yes.
And people would walk by and they would wave to Manny. We would be sitting there and they would be waving to the mannequin.
They both had robes on also.
And he would change the outfit. He would change the message. He wrote some wonderful messages.
Yes, he did. To give hope.
Yeah, of hope. Yeah, definitely. And then he watched some really humorous ones. But Manny was part of his life.
It was.
Yeah, and
I think he needed Manny, don't you think? Sometimes
he did.
Yeah.
And he loved Manny.
He absolutely did. Again, we'll look at the comments and the questions that you have now and, of course, later. And then the greatest thing you can do is share this show because so many of you have wanted to know, how is Babs doing? She's here.
I'm fine.
Not just today, but we're going to sit down in her chairs. And that's going to be a little eerie for me, right? To sit where he sat with you.
And you're going to sit on that side, too.
I know.
I want you to sit there where he sat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It will mean the world to me. And I have to tell you, from the bottom of my heart, it meant the world when I heard from Stephanie that you said, that's it, Monica, that's the show I want to do.
Oh, definitely. I respect your approach to living.
Thank you.
And so I get it.
It was something that he and I shared, and he would reach out to me, Monica, look at your numbers. Look at what people are doing. They love us because we're real, right? We're authentic.
That's right.
We would be on par to reach 1 million people every 90 days.
That's right.
That's where it is. And so for all of you that watch Brian and Babs, I welcome you to our show because this is, if you're new, welcome aboard. This is what we do every morning. They would do it in the afternoon. We would literally bookend your days.
Right. That's right.
I wanted him to do even more than those Thursdays. And so what was he planning? Because he had this beautiful set and he got that couch, by the way, from our friends Jules and Tracy over at Sister Sandwich Shop and Espresso Yourself. But he was getting ready to do more with that.
He was going to do interviews in that space. And it would have been much like what you're doing now.
I love it.
And he had a way of feeding his people with him. And then he took his hands off it.
Yeah.
He did not maneuver them. He did not manipulate them. He let them say what they wanted to say.
Because it's authentic.
And I think that's a gift.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? And a lot of times people will ask us, do you have questions? Do you have an outline? And it's always like, well, what do you want? Question, answer, script? And nobody wants to watch that.
Right. Well,
we want this. Like, we didn't plan this. We're just like,
no.
Well, let's just talk. Let's have fun.
Well, he would come in with this list. Are you ready? Handwritten, of course. And he would tape it to the camera. And we would follow it sort of, kind of.
Yeah. But you go like this.
Sort of, kind of, and it was fabulous. And I would always say to him before he would come, "What are we talking about today? Can you tell me?" He would say, "What are you worried about it for?"
Exactly. People watching.
He said, "I've already taken care of it. Don't worry about it."
Well, and I love, this is the one thing that he and I always shared together, which was watch this, because no matter what, even if it's a cluster F, and I know you want me to say it so bad, Brian, don't you?
It's a cluster. It's a cluster of a cluster.
But no matter what, it's better than the negativity of the news any day.
Oh, and that we'll talk about when we do the show.
Good.
How it started.
Good.
Yeah.
And how many episodes did you get up to? Do you know what number you were on?
Oh my God, I've forgotten.
Well, we'll see if Stephanie or somebody can feed that to us. What you were again? You started right around the time that I started back in 2023.
That's no, I thought it was
Wasn't
earlier than that.
I thought it was in 2023. But again,
yeah, we'll find out. I think we did it for 2.5 years.
Yes,
it would have been 3 years this May.
Okay,
I believe. Yeah.
So, did you ever think that when you first did that first one that you would have continued to build that audience that you
Can
did?
I tell you something?
Please.
I stopped watching the news because, frankly, I call it news gossip.
Yeah.
It wasn't really giving me what I wanted, anything in depth, nor did I want to watch what I was watching. So I said to him, about 3 years ago, I said, I finished, that's it, I'm not watching. And I said, I can't, it's pushing my blood pressure up, and I've had a stroke, and I had. He found me, when I had the stroke.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, okay. And he agreed with me. And then 6 months later, he said, why don't we do a little 10-minute thing about not watching news? And I said, oh, sure, I'll do it. So we did it for 10 minutes. And he called me. He said, have you looked at the response to this?
Right.
And I said, well, no. And he said he was shocked that people, he was shocked that people would like this. So then we got we'll do 30 minutes. And then we'll do, he said, this is going to be a short one, 45 minutes. And then Lindbergh High School, really, they would feed into him, his classmates and people.
Shout out to the Flyers.
The Flyer, and it flew from there. Really, the Flyers flew.
It would. I love it. It would make me laugh because he would say it, and then you would go, well, why? He would say, today's just going to be a short one. And you're like, why? Well, because, we don't have a lot to talk about. And then all of a sudden it was an hour and 45 minutes.
That's right. Oh, my God. It was unbelievable.
Because that's what happens. You just keep going. And if people are on, then you're like, well, why would I get off? I mean, we're on multiple platforms. And I'm pretty sure, Babs, that that says 73, that we have 73 people that are on right now that are watching you and I talk.
Hello.
And those hello.
Hello,
Yes.
73. Actually, I'm delighted to see you all.
And those are live again, but the number, the cumulative number of how many watch, we want thousands, because we are remembering our dear friend, Brian McKenna, and you're getting a chance to see Babs. I know. All right, Rosa wants me to say it backwards, because Brian's trying to get me to say the word. A fuster cluck, Monica.
That's right.
He used to change it, but he said the F word too. And how many times would he talk about porn is what would make me laugh so hard. And his girlfriends in his mind, right?
Oh.
Jennifer Aniston and Kathy
please.
Ireland.
And I would say, in your dreams. Get over it.
Missy says, don't forget about dude and gnarly, right? So
that's going to be another story.
Okay, we're gonna get into those when we sit down on Thursday afternoon. So by the way, it will be next Thursday, not this Thursday. Next Thursday, the 15th at 4 p.m. We are going to do that afternoon show. So you don't want to miss that one. He reached out to Stray Rescue for me when I was concerned about a stray I wanted to take home.
Yeah.
Babs, did he have a dog? Yes.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did indeed.
Was it a Chihuahua?
They were. One was a Chihuahua and the other one was a Pomeranian.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He absolutely loved dogs. Most interesting conversation we have ever had. Never a dull moment with you. Sounds like Brian was the exact same way. Makes perfect sense now. Yes, I told you. I just absolutely adored the man. Let's see. Anybody else? Do us a favor. Missy says, love you, Babs.
Hi, Missy.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea, Michelle. So we have, how would you like to come with us and do our before and after show at the Vault with the ladies? Are you okay with waking up early one more time for me?
Yeah, when?
Okay, so at the end of this month on May 28th, so check your calendar. That's a good idea, Michelle.
Oh, I'll have to check my calendar.
Yeah, check your calendar because
yeah.
You're a busy lady. You might be signing autographs that day and having your...
No, I might be going to a doctor that day.
All right. Well,
but I don't think it's the 28th, but I will check.
So check for us. So on May 28th,
I would love to do
we'll
it.
be back. Have you ever been to the Vault?
No.
Oh, it's beautiful. So I ran into Diana over the weekend at the Kentucky Derby event that they had at the Four Seasons. And we were talking about our before and after models. So we'll show you as you normally would dress. And then the ladies get an opportunity to take an outfit and say, well, we think we want to see Babs in this. And then we'll show the before and after.
Oh my gosh, that
you
would
could
be
one of our
great.
models.
That would be great.
That's a good idea, Michelle. Okay, so we'll check
Where
our
is the
calendar.
Vault?
It is in right there in the Brentwood, Richmond Heights area.
Oh.
So Stephanie will have to bring you again for me.
Oh, okay, Steph.
Stephanie, ride share. Okay, so again, Brian McKenna Day on May 31st. Questions, donations, brianmckennaday@gmail.com. We're still needing sponsors. If you are interested in that, we would love for you to be a part of it. If you didn't get a chance to watch the entire show, make sure that you do a little hashtag replay and then make sure that we see that so that we can comment on it later. Kathleen Morris said, yes, Babs would be an excellent model for that. I agree. Okay, see, and Missy just said she's perfect for the Vault as a model. Okay, so you're gonna, doctor, if she's got you that day, you're gonna have to change.
That's
for
right.
us.
I'll have to change it.
She's needed as a model. Karen says, so great to see you both. Babs is the best. Nothing better than that Boston accent. Wicked cool, right?
That's right. Wicked tough.
And wicked tough and wicked smart.
Smart.
All of those things. Okay, we're going to save some of this, and I bet you that show's going to be even longer for our afternoon show. So what final closing comments would you like to say about our dear friend and your best friend?
He just was my light. He was a light in my life. And I will never forget him. As long as I live, I will never forget him. And I will always miss him. Always. And that's all I have to say.
You just give me chills.
Yeah, I will.
And we're going to look at, again, some amazing pictures. We'll grab even more videos. There's so much out there of the shows, and I encourage you to go back. The thing that I hate, Babs, is that Facebook started deleting these live videos after 30 days. I'm sure he was ticked off about that too.
Well, of course. And
were you all on YouTube also, or just Facebook? Because if it was on YouTube, they're still there.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Can you all let me know, those of you that know, and maybe Stephanie can let me know.
But
Stephanie, was he on YouTube also? Shoot. See, so if you're on YouTube, or maybe, here's a good idea. Somebody needs to start taking the shows that do exist and transfer them for a YouTube channel.
Well, of course, he was challenged technically.
Dang it, Brian.
And guess what? I was more challenged. So it's a miracle that you ever saw us at all.
That you ever even made it on at 4 o'clock. You know that after he was on my show, that we had talked about the three of us being on the balcony and doing a show and having a live audience. We never did it. These are the things.
I told him I would love that. I would have loved it because we would have had people across the street.
Correct. Well,
and I would have wanted Tara, the singer.
Oh, yes, she's a friend of ours also.
Oh, she's great.
Well, how about maybe we can gather some things up for next week?
She cooks.
She cooks
She
for you?
brings me food.
Dang it. She's got all these people working for her, and rightfully so. Here's the thing. If you want to be there around May 15th, we'd love to see you. We'd love to give some hugs.
Oh, please. You know, a lot of people redo the videos because they're busy at that time.
Right, correct.
And so that's when our numbers started to go up.
Yes.
You could see it. And I was a number person, and he would say, "Why are you even worried about this?" I said, "I'm not worried. I just want to know how many people I'm being.
I think you're reaching.
I'm a star." I said, I want to know how many people.
Watch out, world.
Here I come.
You have made it. She is the original Babs. It was the Babs and Brian show. Okay, Misty said, made me cry this morning, Babs. He's sitting there with you. He is, because I just felt the chills. Absolutely is. Again, I can't say enough. Stephanie, behind the scenes, all the hard work that she's doing. She is incredible. And
she is incredible.
I'm so glad that Brian brought us together and now our friendship budding. And for your entire McKenna family, we actually had tickets, Babs. I don't know if you heard about this. We stopped by Pueblo Solis for the 27th anniversary, and we were supposed to go see the Addams family at the Steve. Oh, you heard about this?
I heard.
And I was like, we're not going anywhere. Brian wants me to stay here. And I sat there with the family. We had too many margaritas.
But you were across the street.
Yeah.
And I saw you.
Yep. So I thank you, my dear friend. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I'm so glad that Brian brought us together.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to next Thursday, 4 p.m. Watch the show live, comment, because just like Brian, we're very big into this. We like to interact.
You're going to love this. This is going to be a wonderful show.
It's going to be huge. I don't know how long it's going to go on. It's not going to be short.
No, it's not going to be 10 minutes.
It is not going to be 10 minutes. Michelle just said, shoot, I'll be in New Hampshire on the 15th, but I'll tune in. We need to get her on a red carpet. I'm planning the outfit now. That's from your stylist. Absolutely. Steph is the queen, Missy. Absolutely. So for those of you, I hate to wrap up because it looks like we have about 80 of you on right now, but we do have to get on with the day. We're just going to table this. And the conversation will continue on the 15th at 4 p.m. I'm going to have a little wine. We're going to give her some grape juice. We got to take care of her health.
That's right.
I got her, Brian. So we're going to take a quick break, and we always end with a devotional. So earlier it was something to do about shame day, but my husband's out there like this. Yeah, honey, we just said, thanks for opening the door. We are wrapping up to table it for next week. So we do these devotions. I know, what the heck? Hey, she's a star. She wants to stay on. 100 Days to Freedom. So I know a lot of people right now might feel depression. They might feel sadness from Brian's death, and we get
hope
that.
It's sadness, not depression.
So depression is one of them. These are 100 days to freedom, right? We're pulling, right?
Yeah.
So depression, shame, anger, that's possible, or fear and anxiety. What are you feeling this morning? Pick a color. What are you drawn to, Babs?
Tell me again.
So depression,
no,
anger, fear, and anxiety.
Maybe fear and anxiety.
Okay, that's a big one. And by the way, when people have fear, anxiety, it leads to depression sometimes. It leads to shame. It leads to anger. But I think a lot of times it is the basis of this one. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we wrap it up with 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety.
Outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carroll House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carroll House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice.
And welcome back. We are in the wrap up of the show. And here's what's funny. My husband's like, oh, they need the other room really quick. And so Babs said, is he policing me? And your comment was?
I'd let him police me anytime. Absolutely. Come on down. We're in District 2. I love District 2. Come on down.
He's a handsome man. All right. So Susan said, I can't wait for the show on Thursday. I'm sure Brian will be there in spirit. Of course he will. And he'll be feeding me some comments. Come down to Pueblo today. Yes, celebrate. Can't wait for the 15th, wine in hand. Come on over with us. We'd love, hey, let's have Babs and me in a cast of characters.
That's right. Oh.
Okay, so here we go. So Brian, I think you picked this one for us. Day 61, soulful rest. Then Jesus said, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I'm humble and gentle at heart. You will find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. This is Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30. What?
I think that was meant to be.
See, I think so. I get chills.
That is, no, I've got the goosebumps. I think that's meant to be.
I always believe that it's eerie how it happens, but I asked God, my own Father, and Brian to speak with us today. And so this is what they say. Which way are you going? When fear and anxiety are guiding your life, it's like strapping yourself to a GPS. And Brian, I don't want to hear what you would say about strapping.
Oh, please.
That takes you to places you don't want to go. Fear causes us to shrink. Again, shut up. Shrink back from possibilities that could make a difference in our life. Anxiety can cause us to react negatively when a helpful hand is extended. So many times, these difficult emotions, they're in the driver's seat. But in that passage we just gave you, Jesus offers to be your navigator. He'll provide a source of comfort in his yoke, which will bind you to him as he takes the lead. You'll not go it alone. Rather, you'll feel secure as he leads the way. Jesus' assurance is that his way will be easy to bear and the burden of light. The challenge you have, though, is to trust Jesus with your life. His invitation is for all who are weary and all of you that carry heavy burdens. He's asking you to let him help you carry the things that are weighing you down. No, you're sad right now as we remember our friend, but Jesus will provide soulful rest for you today and every day of your life. So here's our final prayer. Lord Jesus, I come to you today and I ask you to carry my load, knowing you will lead me in the way you desire. Please provide rest for my weary journey. Amen to that.
Thank you. Amen.
God bless you, my friend. And I can't wait to see you next week. There's two things that we're going to say here to end the show. The one that I always say, which is to dream big, because Brian would want you to do. Never let anybody say you can't be anything you want to be. But before anything, be kind. God bless you. But we end with what you and Brian always said. And so this is how we end. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Boom.